Barbara, let's start by talking about the first fundamental concept in programming: input. Input refers to how a program gets data from the outside world. This data can come from different sources, such as a keyboard, a file, or even sensors like microphones or GPS devices. For example, when you type something into a search engine, that's input. That makes sense. Now let's talk about output. Once a program processes input, it needs to display or store the results somewhere. This is where output comes in. The output could be shown on a screen, stored in a file, or even played through a speaker. Think about when we listen to music on our phones. The program processes the data and then plays the sound through the speakers. Right. Moving on, let's discuss sequential execution. In programming, instructions are executed in a step-by-step manner, one after the other, in the order they appear in the script. This is how most basic programs work. Imagine following a cooking recipe. You add ingredients one by one, following the steps in order. That's a great analogy. Now let's talk about conditional execution. Sometimes we only want to execute certain parts of a program under specific conditions. This is called conditional execution. For example, if you enter the wrong password on a website, you won't be granted access. The program checks the condition, whether the password is correct, and decides what to do next. Exactly. Another important concept is repeated execution. Sometimes we need to run the same set of instructions multiple times. This is called looping or iteration. For instance, when a program counts from 1 to 10, it repeats the counting process until it reaches 10. This is useful in situations like running animations, processing large amounts of data, or even playing a song on repeat. That's really useful. Finally, we have reuse. In programming, we often write a set of instructions and give them a name so that we can use them multiple times without rewriting the same code. This is usually done with functions or methods. For example, if you have a program that calculates the average of numbers, you can write a function once and call it whenever needed, instead of writing the calculation again and again. That's a smart way to make programming efficient. These fundamental concepts help us understand how programs work and make coding more structured and efficient. Absolutely. Understanding these principles makes learning programming much easier. Thanks for the discussion, Rashid. My pleasure, Barbara. Credits: Understanding Programming Concepts by Dr. Mohammed Almantheri.